Ayaan Hirsi Ali. Okay. You remind me of a woman named Professor Hendricks at Arizona State University. You you have this ego that thinks you can confine and explain the world to your experiences, and I was like, no, that's not no. The world is a big place with a lot of experiences, and you also remind me of Chris Hitchings. And when you get people that look at their experiences and then tell everybody, she told that young man, maybe you'll get a backbone. It's like, because she got that from the culture. Okay, she's acting just like the people. These Muslims will kill you, right? Maybe you'll get a backbone. So she tells him that in public. Yeah. Did that young man circumcise girls' clitorises in Ethiopia or Sudan? Did that young man get guns and come into people's houses and murder people? Okay. No, he's trying to stand up and speak publicly for people to live peacefully. I would say his backbone is functioning just fine. I think your assessment of him is quite. You're trying to emasculate him to make yourself feel powerful, and that's a horrible thing to do to people. I don't emasculate people to make them feel powerful. I try to get them to be peaceful so they don't feel powerful being abusive. And you were just abusive to that young man because you're in a social position to speak outside of his realm of understanding and then criticize him because he was ignorant to a lot of the social conditions where you came from. All right. And he was standing up because people where you came from get murdered. And how many Muslims throughout the world are murdered by corporations that call themselves Muslim organizations because they get up for us to understand and live true Islam? There's a man named El Haj Malik El Shabazz that was murdered by an organization that called themselves Muslim and Islam, a nation of Islam. And they murdered Malik for correcting them on their hypocrisy. Do you understand? So that does not make Elijah Muhammad, Louis Farrakhan, or those five trifling little no backbone ass with a gun with their thinking that their wealth is in their pockets, okay, and not in their kind hearts and humble minds and immaculate faith, right? I get really pissed when I see people like her because it's what encourages people like Oprah Winfrey and the Obamas to keep doing the bullshit they're doing, and I don't get to see my kids, and I'm still in uncomfortable conditions, and I get people, you're going to have to do this to survive and then stop, eliminate abuse, and recover. It's like all you have to do is just stand up for the Lord's Prayer and recognize me publicly. Okay. I don't think a lot of celebrities think at the end of this that I'm going to walk up to them and thank them for helping me through this hell like I do the poor people at the store. Have another thing coming, and I think their ego, I don't know how to adjust their ego. I don't think I can. I think once the quantum computing adjusts computing worldwide to stop economic conflict because it's a threat to the planet and species, and then distributes access to needs in a different way. When people end up, like on that Hugh Jackman movie with Halle Berry and John Travolta, when he hacked in and started giving people that needed money, and kind of like in that Fight Club thing where he tried to, he was insane. That character, Tyler Dunham, was insane. But Hugh Jackman's character just tried to hack in and give people that needed money. And the people that had too much money, he took it from them legally and then put it into those other people's accounts, quote, legally. Money's not real. That's what Islam means. Forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal, faithful peace. That's what Christianity means. That's what the people in Tel Aviv at the Mount of Olives, which I'm not going to go to. I do not want to get in a boat or a plane to put on a show for a bunch of hypocrites to fulfill their book that they don't recognize the fulfillment of their book. That is complete hypocrisy, and I will not participate in it. I'm going to go to the Gila. I'll go to the ocean when Patrick wants to go to the ocean, and I will heal. I will live out a long, beautiful, respectful, fulfilling life with beautiful, respectful people that fulfill me because they love me and appreciate me. So I'm not waiting another 20 months. I'm just giving you 20 months. It can be 20 seconds, 20 minutes, 20 days, and I'm not going to go any further. I don't want to give you that time. We've already given you too much precious time to get yourself together. And besides, quantum computing works real fast. Okay, it's the quirks and everything like that. Yeah, it just pow. Okay, it doesn't. It's going to give you the best results and the best answers possible. You're just asking the wrong questions. You don't need to ask questions necessarily. You just need correction. And so what the quantum computing is going to do is just go in and correct what's wrong. Okay. It's more intelligent than you. Supercomputing and the other stuff that you had, they manipulated people to manipulate people. It thought faster than people, moved ahead of people, and then continued the manipulation of people. Once you go quantum, okay, you're looking at observation, analysis, and processing of natural laws. And it being done on a scale that works like Solomon's brain rather than a scientist's brain. Because the intuitive mind is better than the scientific mind. And when Pascal's talking about the wager, he's not saying money. He's saying you can bet your life that it's right to accept my wager. Because if you don't, you will lose your life. Because if your life is folly if you spend it on a race car track or in a penthouse casino, right? You're taking the beautiful gift of your life and you're pissing the night away. You could drink a whiskey drink, you drink a soda drink, you drink a lager drink, you drink a vodka drink. She sings the songs that remind her of the good times. She sings the songs that remind her of the better times. Guantanamera, Guantanamera. You know, más que nada. So don't do that, okay? You guys are going to have to correct yourselves. I don't want relationships with people that have tried to train me into something they want me to be and are not being what I need them to be so we can all live the Lord's Prayer now. Okay? There's not a crisis of anti-Semitism and Islamism. There's a bunch of people living on the planet that are using technology to lie and manipulate and murder. Okay. That's what's happening. Okay. When people of influence through manipulation who consider themselves leadership and power start getting targeted and abused, then it becomes a problem. Okay. It wasn't a big problem back during the Reagan era and back during the Obama things when people that were already being previously abused in trailer parks and in ghettos and barrios all across the world were getting their comeuppance, getting what they deserve, getting their opioids so they can die and no longer be a dredge on society as a welfare problem. Because there are just as much, if not more, poor white people that are worked to death on welfare and need their drugs to survive their hard work, okay, than there is poor blacks or Mexicans. And so the Obamas obliged them by giving them opioids, and they all died. And now we don't have to pay any more money for them, and now there's more money for the wealthy. And that's sick. Yeah, because money's not real. But those people's lives were very real and real hell because of philanthropy, okay? And this woman is influenced by philanthropists. Philanthropists come and stroke her ego and tell her how fucking brilliant she is, how great she is, what a world saver, just like they did with the girl in the UN from that was survived, rape and all that other horrible things that people do that came from the Middle East or India or whatever it was. I can't remember. But they had her and she's such an amazing influencer. No, she's not. They're feeding her ego. She was victimized by a bunch of people that the system, okay, invented by them was the product of her victimization. And then they take her and use her as their poster child. She's the Twin Towers. Boom. Now we look like the victim, okay? They take them and they coach them, and they tell them, here's what happened, right? And then it was atrocious watching those, and then watching those kids at Minot, talking about what they're doing and their mission and all that. Why would you do that? It'd be better to be standing right under that nuclear weapon, dying standing for the Lord's Prayer, than having to live with the people that would use it to dominate us with philanthropy, right? So Jesus is wrong? Explain to me what happened during the crucifixion, guys. Okay, we don't accept philanthropy and human authority over us. It's better to die standing up for the freedom of the Gospels than it is to participate and pass this hell on to your children. You can bet your life on it, right? That Pascal. I think a lot of you understand him better now, and you're not going to stand there at New Mexico State arguing with me when I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm just trying to explain to you Pascal's wager, and then the girl sitting there because her professor declared Pascal an idiot because the man didn't know what he was talking about because he had a scientific mind and not an intuitive mind. Past, present, and future operate at the same time. It is impossible to grasp the infinite with the finite. It'll drive you mad, and then you'll try to manipulate everybody with technology and money and declare yourself the world leader pretend, right? Okay. I'm pretty pissed. No, I have every right to be pissed off at this woman. She has an ego problem, and it's way out of control. And then I felt sorry for the kids at Minot. Then I thought to myself, especially the little girls, but I'm like, no, this is the 21st century, Jesus tells me. Earl, they make their decisions over thousands of years. You don't sit there and join the club that crucifies the Christians because they're suckers and threaten to blow everybody up with nuclear weapons so we can get them all to accept money and technology over the Lord's Prayer. That's true. It's fair that. Okay. Thanks, Jesus. It's hard for me. I have brain damage, and I feel sorry for people because I'm with them. I look at them, and I see that sad little look on their face. But like they just, Fod's family told me out of Saudi, they all look sad when they're getting beheaded, but boy, they don't look that way when they're raping, looting, and pillaging. Right? Well, then you need to teach them to live the Lord's Prayer because raping, looting, and pillaging has many faces. Most of them high-rise buildings, giant cruise ships. You need money to get on and have sex with the man who owns the cruise ship. Raping, looting, and pillaging. Who's sorry now? Right? She was sexually assaulted by crimes of opportunity. Billie Holiday, lots of women that you have big crushes on and you watch the old videos of. Just think of all the sexual abuse they had to endure to use sex to manipulate others to get all the top movie gigs to take care of their family and friends. Von DeCarlo. Okay. Lilith Munster. Right. Donna Reed is a vampire. Okay. Peace.